Hello, welcome to this DCS F14B tutorial. In this video, I will be covering startup and basic gesture configuration for your plane before you start the taxi and takeoff. So to begin, I will hit my auto start. I will open my rearm menu. I'll choose my preferred loadout. I personally prefer the AP and HE rounds over the HEI. HEI is high explosive incendiary, and I like the punch that I get with armor piercing plus high explosive rounds. You still get tracers, so you don't have to worry about that. As far as flare and chaff, I like 80 flares and 120 chaff. Um, the only thing to note is whatever you choose during your initial arming, you should use for the duration of the life of your plane until you respawn or something like that. If you change it on, say, I come back from a mission, do another rearm, and I change it, you'll have to change the loadout in a separate menu, which I'll show you after I close this. That just complicates things. Choose what you want the first time and you'll never have to worry about it. As far as loadouts go, for air to air, I like this loadout here with the 4 Mark 60 Phoenixes, 2 Sparrows, 2 Sidewinders, and 2 tanks. If I was going against AI, I'd utilize these 54A Mark 60s. They have smoke, but they're faster. If I was going against humans, I would utilize the 54Cs Mark 47s because they're smokeless and a little bit more resistant to chaff. They just don't go as fast. So I'll choose my 4 Mark 60, 2 Sparrow, 2 Sidewinder, 2 tank loadout. And I'll come into the Sparrow slots and I will change them to 7Ps rather than 7Ms. They were just recently added to the game, and they're a bit more modern and a bit better than the 7Ms. Okay, rearm started. I'll go to my front dash panel. Gun rate, Sidewinder, cool, missile prep. I'll just turn them all on. Arm my plane. Make sure my anti-skid spoiler BK switch is in the up position. This will turn on spoilers and our anti-skid. I'll show you what the spoilers are on our wings when we finally extend them. That helps us get some extra braking power when our throttle is in idle and we're on the ground. At this point, we are just going to wait for a gesture to say ready to taxi. If you wish, you can remove this little thing in front of you blocking your HUD. By hovering over it, it will say show hide HUD camera. Be cooperative. There we go. And just right click it and you can get that away and no longer blocking your view. You can also adjust your preferred seat height. I like to come down a little bit. And once again, I'm just waiting for Jester to say ready to taxi. So I'll go ahead and pause the video here and pick up with you once he says that. All right, Jester just came over the radio and said ready to taxi. At this point, you can do all of these steps I'm about to do while you're sitting here or as you're taxiing over to the runway. So to begin, I'm going to move my emergency wing sweep handle forward. You can either click and drag it, left click and drag, or I have it bound to an axis slider. When it's in the forward position, I will right click it to push the handle down. You will then close your wing sweep handle cover. I have that bound, as you saw in the key bindings video. And then you'll press the master reset button down here. I also have that bound. Once you've closed the cover, pressed master reset, we're going to enable our auto mode for our wing sweep. You can see we're in manual here. I will press my wing sweep auto keybind. Now it's in auto. My wings are forward. And these are the spoilers I was talking about. Those little bits sticking up from the wings, those happen when this switch is in the up position. If I move it down, they go away. So you want to make sure this is up. That'll help you stop. From here, that's all your basic plane setup. If you want, you can turn off the stability assists by hitting your paddle or flipping the switches manually. I just hit my paddle. And now we'll configure Jester. So open my Jester menu, go to the main menu, and we're going to set up our countermeasures and our data link. So I'll go into countermeasures first, option 6, and we're going to work around the wheel in a clockwise fashion for the right half. So we'll go number 1. My preferred method is auto chaff, manual flares. As the pilot, you are in control of the flares. Jester or the plane in auto is in control of the chaff. So I'll choose option 1 for auto. I'll come back into the menu, main menu, countermeasures, option 6, go into flare mode. Pilot is the default, which is where you are in control of the flares. Normal, you are in control of chaff, and multi, Jester can get involved. I just leave that default. I'm in control of the flares. Chaff program, you can experiment with what you like, but I personally like option 8, which pops out a random number of chaff within 1 second, and it repeats that 8 times with 2 seconds between each burst.
Roger.
Go back in, we'll set our flare program. Once again, you can choose your own preference, experiment with what you like, but I like option 3, 10 flares with 2 seconds between them. After we set our flare program, we'll come into CMS control order, and here's where we're going to tell the plane we want to use the programs we set. So I'll go chaff program, go back in, control order, flare program. At that point, we've set all of the options in here. I'll talk more about these 2 options during an RWR tutorial. And now we can set up our data link. So I'll go into option 7, option 1, set mode, and I'll choose tactical data link system.
Roger that.
I'll go back into option 7, set host, and if you have an AWACS, or you can even use like carrier fleet assets, I'll choose my AWACS here.
Okay.
And now our plane will be getting data link info from the AWACS. At this point, I'm all set to taxi, so I can hit my nose wheel steering button to turn on my nose wheel steering. You'll see it's engaged here. And I'll taxi on over. You can do this now or when you're in the air, but if you're using Phoenix missiles, you can go into the Jester menu, main menu, option 2, BVR, beyond visual range, option 5, radar settings, and tell him to use option 2, track while scan auto, and that'll allow you to utilize your Phoenix missiles to engage multiple targets. Alright, that covers all of your startup. I'll do that one more time without talking as much, so you can get a better feel for the flow of the startup. Alright, auto start, rearm, choose your preferred loadout.
Ground air supply is now connected. Turn off the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now on. Request refueling. Roger that. Request rearming.
Press the 3 buttons, arm the plane, turn on my anti-skid, and wait for Jester to say ready to taxi. So I'll pause it here and pick up with you when he says that.
All right, let's.
Alright, Jester came over the radio and said ready to taxi. At this point, you can do it all while you're still stationary, or as you move to the runway. I like to do it as I move to the runway, but for here I'll stay stationary. So I'll extend my wings, put the handle down, close the cover, master reset, auto mode. Now I will configure Jester, CMS, mode, auto, CMS, flares, pilot,
Roger that.
CMS, chaff program, 8,
Okay.
CMS, flare program, 3, CMS, control order, chaff program, CMS, control order, flare program, data link, mode,
Welcome.
data link, post ALAX.
Roger.
At that point, if I feel like it, I'll hide my HUD camera and disable my assist, turn on nose wheel steering, disengage parking brake, and I am ready to go. That covers startup. Thanks for watching.